Hi there, welcome to the YouTube channel. I'm back today, and today we're talking about Estrid the Mask. Now, Estrid's an unusual one for me, and the reason I've been looking at this today is because a while back I had this comment on one of the videos here on YouTube. Can you an Estrid deck tech enchantments band please, and can you put Calix Guided by Fate in the deck? So, I like a challenge. So yeah, Estrid it is. Now, Estrid's an unusual one for me. I'm going to be really honest about it. I knew Estrid existed, don't get me wrong, but since I've been streaming, I have never played against it on stream. I've never built one up for the stream. And so it was quite interesting for me to sit and think about this. Obviously, Estrid is a little bit pricey on MTGO. It's not too bad in real life, but on MTGO it's a little pricey. But as a Planeswalker commander, it's pretty good because it's one green, white and blue, as you can see. And then you get to start with 3 loyalty. Yeah, okay. But +2, untap each enchanted permanent you control. -1, create a white aura enchantment token named Mask attached to another target permanent. And that token has enchant permanent and totem armor. So totem armor basically gives you a Persuado indestructibility for return. So if they kill it off, it stays in play. They have to kill it off twice, basically. So yeah, even things like Wrath of God, it gets around. So from that point of view, really nice. And then -7, mill 7 cards. Return all non-aura enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Then do the same for aura cards. Now, I don't know how Estrid plays normally. I have no idea. But I went down a completely focused on aura route because I don't think I've built an aura deck for a long time. And this is what my version of Estrid looks like today. So, starting at the beginning, the land. Yeah, green, white and blue lands everywhere. Some basics across the whole side of things. I decided I was going to try and keep it a reasonable price if people want to build it in real life. So we haven't got over the top. I think, you know, Sparrow's Headquarters, Sea of Clouds, Reliquary Towers here, Temple of the False Gods here. And then a few of the dual lands, including the ones I've managed to pick up on MTGO, the new ones for Murders at Karloff Manor. I like these ones. I've said it several times now. I like the surveyability better than I like the scry ability. So, you know, it's pretty good. Artifact ramp wise, not much really. Just Sol Ring and Arcane Signet, and then one of each of the talismans. There is a reason for this, which we'll get to as we go through the deck. But we are only playing 35 lands. We're playing 27 creatures and 37 other things. And the 37 other things are quite interesting. Well, apart from the 5 I've already mentioned. So, yeah, I'll show you. Anyway, it's all auras. I think I did have Smothering Tithe in here for a little while, but I've dropped it for now because you just don't need it, believe it or not. If you want to put it in, fine, drop a card, put Smothering Tithe in, no issue. But with all the auras and the creatures you've got, you get there really quickly. So the first one, Griff Spoon, give our creature flying and +1/+0, and we can bring it back from the graveyard if we need to. Spirit Link gives us another way of gaining life. It's not life link, so you can put it on something else that has life link and still gain double the life, so bear that in mind. Curiosity, Audacity. Well, Curiosity, deal the combat damage, draw a card. Audacity pumps up our creature, gives it trample, and we get to draw a card when Audacity goes to the graveyard. Rancor just bounces back to our hand with the +2/+0 and trample. Sixth Sense, it lets us draw cards when we deal damage again. And Utopia Sprawl goes straight on a forest to make sure we can have an extra bit of colour. I really do recommend going with white. We haven't got that much blue in the deck outside a few key cards. So yeah, it's probably better if you name Utopia Sprawl in white from my point of view. And Elixir of Immortality lets us shuffle everything back in when it goes a bit pear-shaped. A Tale from the Ages is a card you probably have forgotten about from Wilds of Eldraine, but it pumps all our enchanted creatures up by +2/+2, and we have a lot of enchanted creatures happening here, so might as well have the tail in, which is quite a nice little global effect. All That Glitters just gets everything massive, as we know. Rune of Sustenance gives our creature lifelink. We haven't got any equipment in the deck, so it's got to go on a creature, but we do get to replace it. 2 mana, draw a card, give something lifelink permanent is pretty good. The traditional enchantment and artifact cards for this colour are coming in there. So we've got Cerams in, we've got Transcendent Envoy, which is nice because this specifically is about aura spells, so yeah, bear that there. We have a little bit of control with Cyclonic Rift. Rune of Flight does the flying and draw a card. Composer of Spring comes from Commander Masters, if I remember. Yeah. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you control 6 or more enchantments, instead you can put a creature or land in. Little bit of ramp if you've got some extra lands in your hand. And yeah, it's a 1/3 that has quite... It's not bad to target with your enchantments, to be fair. Herald of the Pantheon is obviously here. Enchantment spells includes our auras, cost 1 less to cast. And whenever we cast one, we gain a life. Heroic Intervention keeps everything alive. Can be a Transcendience from Neon Dynasty. +1/+1 every time we cast an enchantment spell, and we get to get this creature back in our hand when things go pear-shaped, when it's been killed off and we get an enchantment go to the graveyard. Ordeal Annihilea gives us that way of ramping up when we get the 3 +1/+1 counters. There is a nice little trick you can do with the Kami. Get 2 counters on the Kami, play the Order of Annihilea. That gets a 3rd counter then, and then you can just attack. So it gets a 4th counter, and you get to get 2 lands. Nice little combo. Very basic, I know, but it's good fun. Rune of Might does the whole +1/+1 and trample bit for us, as well as a card draw. Sanctum Weaver just gives us a whole load of mana for each enchantment we control when we get there. 0/2 is a little bit liable. There is a card that can go on it, which makes it a little bit more durable, which I'll get to. Jukai Naturalist, drop the cost, lifelink. You know what this does. You've seen it in standard, I'm sure. Along with Sithis, Harvest Hand turns up in a lot of enchantment decks. Again, this one, cast an enchantment, gain a life, draw a card. We want to keep building the cards up and drawing stuff. Auramancer lets us go and get one from our graveyard back into our hand if need be. Heliod's Pilgrim goes and fetches it from the library. Ironclad Slayer also does the return from the graveyard to our hand if we need to. And this is why I'm not too worried about the land side of it, because we can untap every enchanted permanent with Estrid. We've got Gift of Paradise, Grafted Growth, New Horizons, and I think Weirded Wood somewhere as well, which double up our mana on our lands and give us a little bit of a bonus for each one of them. But Estrid does untap our lands as well, so from that point of view, really, really cool. Hydra's Growth just makes a creature ridiculously big. Kadoma of the West Tree, whenever we attack with a modified creature, deals combat damage to a player. Search our library for basic land and put it on the battlefield tapped. That's the reason why we are playing 5 of each basic land. Well, 4 planes actually, and 4 islands, 5. I'll get it right one day. I did change it, that's why. 5 forests, 4 plains, 4 islands, and this is the main reason as to why we're doing it, so we can go and get them out with Kadoma. Because most of our creatures will be modified because they all have auras on them at some stage. Obviously, Kadoma's Reach is here, just to go and get some lands out if we need them quickly. Setisian Champion, another one that whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under our control gets bigger and we get to draw another card. Tangle Span Lookout also comes from Wilds of Eldraine, gives us an aura enters the battlefield under our control, draw a card. Does trigger, I'll just point out, off the -1 ability here as well, because it's not a cast, it says when it enters, so yeah, it does work. Squirrel Nest is fun. Want lots and lots of blockers, we can play Squirrel's Nest on a land, get a squirrel, untap the enchanted thing, get another squirrel, start putting some enchantments on them if we need to. Armadillo Cloak is also here, just so we can get the extra, gain some life and a +2/+2 in trample. Calix, Guided by Fate. There you go, there's Calix, as promised, that is here. We all know what it does, hopefully. Danitha, new Benalia's Light from the wonderful set of Aftermath. Once during each of your turns, you may cast an aura or equipment spell from your graveyard. 2 mana, 3 mana for a 2/2 with Vigilance, Trample and Lifelink. Chucking some of the auras around is very nice. Gwaine, the Casting Director, also makes an appearance in the deck. The Royal Roll, the Sorcerer Roll or the Monster Roll. You take your pick and get it into play and have fun with it. Up to the 4 drops, Chroma's Will, just so we've got a way of alpha striking if we need to. Armoured Sky Hunter lets us go and look at the top 6 and get an aura. Indestructibility is great. Short of Farewell, exiling everything. You get this on a creature, that creature's probably staying around for most of the game. Unless people, there are targeted removal spells, I realise that exile, I'm not saying it's that great, but it stops things like Wrath of God, Damnation. Just bear it in mind. Ajani's Chosen when we get our auras coming into play, we get to get those lovely 2/2 cats, and they can have the auras attached to them if we want them to. Archon of Sun's Grace gives us Pegasus that have life links, another way of gaining life. Again, 2 very standard cards in any enchantment deck you ever see played. One you may not see that often is Archon of the Wild Rose, again from Wilds of Eldraine. It gives all our creatures a base power and toughness of 4 when they're enchanted by an aura. And they have flying. What more could you ask for? Mirror Hall Mimic is purely here for the disturb ability, and if we need to copy any creature on the battlefield, we can. It's quite nice if you have sort of like doubles up of these happening, but yeah, we flash it back and it becomes Ghastly Mimicry, and we get a copy at the beginning of our upkeep of everything it's enchanted to, so that's cool. One with the Kami doesn't do anything for us power and toughness. However, if you put it on a creature that's power and toughness will go up and down, when it dies you get all those lovely colourless spirit tokens, and your opponent's going, oh. So yeah, bear it in mind. Pattern of Rebirth is an old school one from Urza's Destiny that I had to include, because when the enchanted creature dies, you go and find another creature and put it on the battlefield. And we have got one very big target coming up this is good for. Bear Umbra gives you the whole +2/+2. Whenever this creature attacks, untap all lands we control, and has the totem armor as well. So if enchanted creature would be destroyed, instead remove all damage from it and destroy this aura. Yeah, that's why I like the totem side of things. You could put all of the totems in. I just went with the Bear Umbra. There is a white one, there is a green one. I've ignored them for this deck so far. If you want to put them in, you can find them. Calix, Destiny's Hand, is also here in his Planeswalker form. Going back to one of the Theros sets. I can't remember which one. Beyond Death. There you go. Look at the top 4 cards of your library, reveal an enchantment from among them, and put that card into your hand. And then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Exile target creature enchantment you don't control until the target permanent you control leaves the battlefield, and then -7 return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Okay. Going from there, Elviri of the Wild Court comes back in from the Wilds of Eldraine set as well. The Virtuous Roll token is just very, very good. Yeah, enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control. What's really nice, if you have this in play and Gawain in play, you can go into going, let's put the Virtuous Roll token on this creature, and then we'll also, hopefully have a Royal Roll on it, and yeah, ward 1 +1/+1 plus all the +1/+1s from this. It gets silly very quickly and is really good fun. But do be aware, if you have both these in play, you do become a tiny bit of a target, so think about that before we do anything too funky. Anyway, Yenna, Red Tooth Regent's also here. Lets us copy our enchantments for 2 mana, and then it becomes, if that token is an aura, untap Yenna, Red Tooth Sorcery, then Red Tooth Regent, scry 2. Since we are copying purely auras, as soon as we can get Yenna in play and out of Summoning Sickness, yeah, copy all your enchantments ways, you get 2 of each enchantment in play. It is, yeah, let's just say it's, yeah, good. Going from there, we go to Galia, Kindler of Hope, coming back in from the Forgotten Realms Commander set. Look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast auras from the top of your library, and yeah, 4/4 with Vigilance for 4 mana, same casting cost as our commander. Pretty cool. Unfinished Business gives you a little bit of reanimation if you need it, and it brings back a couple of auras with it when you do it. It's great to hold on to it if you get one of these 4 or 5 key creatures killed off down here. Keep it in your hand, don't waste it early. Giant Inheritance. It's just a silly commander card from Wilds of Eldraine. Enchanted creature gets +5/+5 and has, whenever this creature attacks, create a monster roll token attached to up to 1 target attacking creature. And when this goes to your graveyard from the battlefield, you can return it to your hand. So it's always going to keep coming back to your hand unless they exile it. The last 2 cards are creatures. Heavenly Blade Master just pumps up your entire army when you attack, and when you enter the battlefield with Heavenly Blade Master, you put all your auras on it and see how much your opponents panic with all the creatures they're facing down that suddenly got massive. And then, of course, the other one that always turns up in any good aura deck is Bruna, Light of Alabasta. whenever it attacks or blocks, attach any number of auras on the battlefield to it, and you may put any number of battlefield on the battlefield attached to it and from your graveyard in your hand. It's just stupid. Basically, you attack, you put every single enchantment on Bruna and watch your opponents go, nah. But that's it. That is my take on Estrid. There are lots of different paths you can do. You can see I haven't really played around with the constellation side of it. You can go down that way with it. You can look at all the enchantment creatures, but you know, you need to enchant the permanents, so it is an aura deck. Or if you want to go down the other way, you can try and do the -7 thing and just get lots and lots of normal enchantments into play from your graveyard. Works really well if you've got doubling season in play, and then you can keep Estrid alive for a couple of turns, so you can get that up to minus. So you get the loyalty up to 8 and hit the -7 button and bring everything back. But I like my version of it. It's good fun to play. It's not it's powerful, but not overly powerful. I'd probably put it somewhere between a 7 and an 8 at the moment. I think you can take it a little bit further, maybe drop some of the random creatures and enchantments I'm playing, put some more ramp in. You'll probably get it up to quite a competitive level quite quickly. But from my point of view, this is the sort of thing I like playing on the stream, and if you watched the stream on Sunday, you would have seen that I already tested it, but I've changed it since I tested it, so hey, bear with me. Anyway, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. It'd be lovely if you subscribed here. I'm sitting at 366. I'm trying to get to 500 by the end of 2024, so help me out. Hit the subscribe button. If you want to see me play Estrid, and I will be playing it on stream again, so I'm enjoying it quite a lot at the moment, there's a link down below to Twitch. Come and give me a follow over there, and you can come and watch me play it. I'll be playing this deck tonight. Yeah, this goes up on Thursday my time, so I'll be streaming tonight, so that'll be played undoubtedly at some stage tonight. But for now, thanks for watching, take care, and I hope you enjoyed the video. See you soon. Bye.